Entonces uno, por ejemplo, canta ese calizo, como dice, los calizos tradicionales, no son calizos tradicionales. Uno anda, por ejemplo, ple, yo carnaval. Entonces la gente va agarrando ese ritmo de ese calizo.
Enfrentamos el calixo tradicional, el calixo cadencioso, el calixo ligeramente lento, porque ahora, por ejemplo, y eso está ocurriendo también en Trinidad, ya no se toca calixo, se toca soca, un ritmo extremadamente rápido.
TTT. Joining us in studio this morning is the Venezuelan ambassador, His Excellency Álvaro Enrique Sánchez Cordero, to share a bit more with us. Good morning, Your Excellency, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you with us on the show this morning, and it's a pleasure to learn so much about the connection between both of our countries. Can you share with us a little bit about the cultural significance of El Callao, and also what you shared earlier about the migration of Trinbagonians to Venezuela?
Thank you for the question, Natasha. Yeah, many people don't know this. Many people in Trinidad don't know this, but in the 19th century, there was a large number of people who migrated from not only Trinidad, but the Eastern Caribbean to Venezuela, but specifically to the town of El Callao for the mining industry. Similar to the migration that took place later on of Eastern Caribbeans to Panama for the construction of the Panama Canal. Earlier, Trinbagonians and other Eastern Caribbean people went to the mining industry in El Callao, and they developed the town in all the sense, in industry, in trade and so on, but also in culture. So therefore, our Calypso, Venezuelan Calypso, originally came from migrants, from Trinbagonian migrants who went and settled in El Callao.
That's amazing. How would you say the fusion of Afro-Antillean rhythms and Caribbean music has influenced the town? Is it something you still see today?
Absolutely. In fact, the most similar carnival festivities in Venezuela, similar to Trinidad carnivals, are found in El Callao. And it is also an input of the Trinbagonian migration. So you can see carnivals is celebrated all across Venezuela, but the carnivals from El Callao are especially significant because of its ancestral connection to Trinidad and Tobago.
That is absolutely amazing to think about, that we are so connected. Now, one of the things that definitely struck a lot of us in taking a look at this show that's coming up is the mention of the soil rich in gold in El Callao. Could you expound on that a little bit more?
Yes, that area, but generally the whole state of Bolivar, which is the name, is a mining state mostly. So you find gold or steel. And that industry has been developing ever since the last quarter of the 19th century. But that leads me to another point, which is really Venezuela is a country rich in natural resources.
Right.
So perhaps El Callao and the Bolivar state are prominent in terms of gold and other minerals, but the whole of Venezuela is a really rich country, as we know, gas, oil, and so on.
Definitely, and rich in culture, and rich in beautiful people as well, and that love, and the talent that we are seeing coming out of this documentary, which is going to be aired right here on TTT. Now, as you mentioned, the Carnival, something that has been spoken about is UNESCO's recent recognition of Carnival in El Callao. How is that affecting the town to this day?
No, it has been very positive. It's a well-deserved recognition of especially the people from the town whom over the years have been promoting the culture and the traditions, as I said, based on Caribbean culture and tradition, but it has become Venezuelan. It has a Venezuelan aspect, and it has developed and actually taken all across Venezuela and even outside Venezuela. So the fact that UNESCO recognized the Callao carnivals as unique, as a heritage to humanity, has really made a major impact in the population of El Callao and generally in the whole of Venezuela.
And I know this particular documentary has also made an impact at film festivals by winning some awards. But something quite different was that it won the Cygnus Venezuela Award for the spiritual significance. Would you say that there is that relation between spirituality and the festival for the people of the town and for Venezuela as a whole?
Absolutely. As I said, there is a high level of spirituality, heritage, connection with our ancestry, particularly because of the fact that it's a reflection of so many hardworking people who came from abroad, from the Caribbean, to build and to develop the town. But generally, you can say the same about all our African and Afro-Venezuelan cultural heritage. It's a true connection with our mother Africa in all the essence, and it has inspired all of our culture, our art, and our daily life as well.
One of the things with the music in particular that we've seen mentioned, and we know, as you mentioned, is integral to Venezuelan history, culture, and keeping it alive, is the relationship to the drum and also to the bomach, if I'm pronouncing it correctly. Could you share with us what the bomach is?
Yes. Unlike the rest of the Venezuelan drums, which came directly from Africa, and we still have them, we still cherish them, and it's really amazing. And we have had a few shows at the embassy espousing our tradition in Afro-Venezuelan drums, as I said, connecting directly to Africa. But the bomach of El Callao, it was actually developed in Venezuela fairly recently, after the arrival of Trinidadians and other Eastern Caribbean to that town in the late 19th century, and it was made of cases kind of similar to the story of a steel pan. So it was made of cases of wine that came to the region in the late 19th century, and it was taken and actually fixed in a way that they were transformed into a kind of drum, and it was played in the festivities of particularly Carnival in El Callao, and now it's a traditional musical instrument of that particular region. The bomach, yes.
Absolutely amazing. Wonderful to think. There are incredible things that go on in our region. Now, also, as you mentioned, steel pan, we were talking a little bit earlier off air, and we were speaking about the fact that there are some differences with the Calypso, but in the beginning, there wasn't the integration of the steel pan. So let's talk about the difference of Venezuelan Calypso to what we experience here in TNT and the integration of steel pan into that.
Well, you'll see it in tomorrow's documentary film, The Muse of El Callao, the inspiration of El Callao is called, and they talk about that because, as I said, the kind of calypso that was taken to Venezuela in the late 19th century did not have a steel pan, because the steel pan was only invented afterwards in the 20th century. But also it was the earliest stages of calypso, and this is what we have. So as calypso developed later in Trinidad, coming all the way to soca, for example, in the documentary film explains how soca is much more faster, and the pace of our calypso in Venezuela is slower, because we still maintain the calypso that was originally taken in the 19th century. So there is a little bit of a debate in the documentary film where there, especially young people in Venezuela, prefer the most faster soca kind of calypso, whereas the most traditional musicians from El Callao and across Venezuela, they think that calypso should be maintained as it was originally brought to, and so on. So it's interesting. It's an interesting debate.
It sounds interesting, and it shows that no matter where you're on the world and no matter what genre of music, we're always going to have that pushback between the younger generation and the traditionalists, and finding that way to marry the two. But it's beautiful that there's the incorporation of the drum and the bomach. No matter how much time passes, you're keeping that culture alive. Now, speaking about keeping culture alive and also awareness, there is an MOU that has been signed. Let's talk a little bit about that and what that's bringing to the table for the nation.
Absolutely, Natasha. Thank you for the question. Indeed, there was an MOU recently in July, a couple of months ago, between TTT and Telesur. That MOU offers a wide range of opportunities for exchange of best practices between both TV channels, exchange of experiences, and exchange of programs. And indeed, we will see starting today, after this show, right, at 8 a.m., the program from Telesur called From the South. A very interesting program, very educational and informative program. And it will be aired every morning at 8 a.m., if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
On TTT, and it is originally produced by Telesur. A very insightful alternative news program that looks into stories that are normally overseen by the traditional media.
How significant would you say this is for the immigrant population in Trinidad and Tobago, and also throughout the world? Because one of the things with TTT is that we broadcast everywhere. So how significant would you say this step is when it comes to our relations?
It's very good, very important, especially if we talk about South-to-South cooperation in the global South. All of us, Trinidadians, Venezuelans, Latin Americans, Caribbeans, Africans, we belong to the South, and we need to cooperate one another. We need to know one another. It's incredible that sometimes we tend to look more to the north than into ourselves, and this is what Telesur, TTT pursue to do, to try to bring us together as one nation, one people, one love, as Bob Marley used to say.
Definitely, and I think that is one of the best ways to wrap our conversation this morning, coming from Bob Marley, and also the fact that we are a family. We are from the South, we are together, and we need to continue to stand together, learn about one another, and that is how we are going to grow. Ambassador, thank you so much for joining us this morning. It's been a pleasure. Looking forward to more relations being built between both of our beautiful, beautiful countries.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Natasha.
Trinidad and Tobago, this is an Our Morning Show. We have a lot more coming up, so stay tuned.